Tech Cocktail Conversations, candid insights from startup founders, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders from around the globe.
POPVOX is an online advocacy platform, so it's basically a place where anybody can go and weigh in on the bills that are in Congress and actually get those messages to Congress in a way that can be heard. I was a congressional staffer being bombarded by the messages coming in from people all over the country, and thought that it was not a good thing that I was the only one that was seeing them. So I thought, wow, all of these people who care about these big issues and little issues, if everyone could hear what Congress hears, then it would really contribute to the debate. And you could also hold Congress accountable by saying, hey, I know what you're hearing. Let's see what you're going to do about it. I think awareness is always a challenge for new companies. For us, we have some really active fans, and that's been helpful. We have, we haven't done any advertising. All of the outreach has been word of mouth and social media, and it helps that Congress responds when people take action through POPVOX. We get lots of feedback that, they get calls from congressional staff saying, hey, we saw your message about this. What do you think about this approach? So, Congress kind of helps us out with the feedback loop, and it's been a really rewarding experience. So I told someone when I left DC to go kind of work in the Silicon Valley atmosphere, I felt like an exchange student. All of a sudden people were speaking a different language and wearing a different clothes, and the culture was completely different. But one of the key things that I think is different from the political world to the startup world is the fact that it's okay to fail in the startup world. It's almost encouraged. It's like, just go, try it, do it. If you fail, that's fine. Get back up, that's experience. In the political world, sometimes, unfortunately, it's like, oh, God, don't try that. You might fail, and I don't want to be standing anywhere near you if you do. It's very much a zero-sum game. There's the feeling that if you win, I lose in the political world sometimes, and I think to the country's detriment, unfortunately. And in the startup world, there's a great feeling among entrepreneurs that we're all kind of in this innovation, disruptive move forward together. And I think there's a lot of people working in the political space now adopting a lot of the practices of startups, and I think we're starting to see some cross-pollination of those ideas, and I think we're all going to be better for it. We really benefit from the active, vibrant DC tech community that is very supportive. It's a really interesting tech community. You have some great engineers, you have some great creative people, and you have a really interesting mix of people who are coming out of government, or they're coming out of advocacy, or they're coming out of biotech. And I think there's some really wonderful folks working now to make sure they're all talking to each other, whether through the Startup DC efforts and Startup America. So we're seeing a lot happening in DC. Well, I definitely think it's a factor. Our world is kind of after the election. We help people get their message to Congress once Congress is elected. So the election is one that we're interested in and we kind of follow, but we're not necessarily a platform for campaigns. However, we watch it closely, and I have to say a very experienced political operative was talking to me, and he said, I watched what was happening in Iowa, and I realized that all these candidates went in and everybody knew their names. People knew what they stood for. Ad spends were down, and it's because social media was making it so possible for candidates to get their message out, even beyond the traditional methods that quite frankly cost so very much in the past. So I think you see a lot of playing field leveling going on with social media and technology. For aspiring entrepreneurs, I think the most important thing is to just do it. It will never be unscary. It will always be scary, and when you feel like you just can't stop thinking about an idea, there's a reason for that, and you just got to go take the first step. There's an entire community out there that will help you take the next one and the next one. And like we said before, the worst that can happen is that you fail, and you learn a lot, you get back up, you do it again, and make something happen.